Hi everyone and welcome to another video. So today I have a real-time coloring and chat video. This is where I color an image in real time and I chat a little bit about coloring or things and just chat basically. Today I am coloring an image from Moonlight Whispers. It's an Etsy store. I think the artist is called Annie Rodriguez. Yeah, I cannot pronounce that. I was really inspired to do this after I saw an image over at Stephen Crops Instagram. He's doing his 30-day coloring challenge, like his own little challenge to challenge himself, and he had colored up this gorgeous little mermaid. And yeah, I just had to color up a mermaid too. So that is what I'm doing here. So I'm using my go-to colors when it comes to skin, and then I picked up some greens and some pinks, and also like a little bit of varied, very light, like purples and stuff for the little bubbles. But all of those colors will be linked in the description down below. So for the chat, we're going to talk about coloring today, and we're not going to talk about how to color. We are going to talk about coloring, like what it means to me, why I love it so much, why it was a big part of me taking a hiatus, and what I'm doing now to kind of be able to balance everything a little bit more properly. So I love coloring. Coloring is probably my favorite thing, absolute favorite thing to do. And I think it's because it's building dimension and it's not fully creating from my own mind. It's like giving life to images, which I think is really fun. So I love coloring. I have been coloring with Copic since somewhere around 2012, 2013, somewhere there. And a lot of my coloring knowledge I have taught myself through watching other people coloring, to study how other people are doing their job and then just color like them. And throughout these years I have learned techniques that I like. I have learned ways of doing things that I like to do, how I would like to shade, how I like to build, all of those things. I think it's very individual as a creative when you find your voice, that when you figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. I love coloring big, beautiful images, but I also feel that I want space for my card making. I want space for my crafts, for my box making. Those are a very big part of what I do, and I can't fit everything in. I think that is my biggest problem, is that I can't fit everything in that I want to fit in. So last year there, January, February, March, April, when I was super stressed also, there was a few reasons behind why I also felt a little bit stuck. I felt that I wanted to do so much and I had so little time. Just like I still feel that way. But coloring is very time consuming. It takes a lot of time. This little mermaid, this video is somewhere around 30 minutes, I think. But it took me, just the coloring section with switching pens and stuff, took about 40 minutes. And that was after picking out the stamps, doing all the pens, picking out all the markers, testing some of the markers to see if they would work. All of those things I actually did before I sat down to color. So it does take time. This is fairly simple coloring. I'm giving a lot of dimension to the face and arms and body, which I have a tendency to do when I color. I usually go over 2 times over the character with all of the colors. And that is because I don't want to go in with too thick of shadows. I want the shadows to be deep but not too dark. I want it to feel very rounded. So then I go in twice, but I only use the darkest marker once, and that helps also blend in the EO4 because the EO4 is dark. But yeah, and then I go in and just do single layers on the body. I do add quite a lot of detail to her hair here, but I felt it kind of got lost in the pinks because they're so bright. Happens. But I kind of liked it. But that's the way I color, and because that's the way I color, it takes time. There's a few things that happened last year. One of them was that I actually redecorated my whole office, our whole office. And one of the things we did was to add a bench, like a standing height bench, all through like one of the corners. So 2 full walls of just counters. And that is where I record my videos, which is super good for making cards and making boxes. I really like standing up and crafting. It works very good for me. I can run around and pick everything out of the drawers that I want to pick out, stuff like that. But it's not very good for coloring. I only have like a little stand chair, which isn't the most comfortable one. And my back isn't the friendliest one, so I can't really sit and color for hours in there under the camera. But I do have this little table I bought in IKEA, one of those like wooden things that you can put in your sofa or in your bed. I think it's made for coming in. It's like a tray with legs almost, so you take it in for like morning breakfast in bed kind of thing, and I have that here in my living room, and I sit down and I take the pens that I want to use and I color. I turn on some YouTube or some TV series, and I just sit and color, and I can do that for hours. But I don't have the possibility to put up my camera in here. The camera doesn't fit on this little table. So I have to choose. Do I color? Do I do a lot of cards with a little bit of with coloring that I've done on the side? Or do I do coloring videos and break my back? Because that's what's happening now. Like I'm training, I'm trying to straighten up my back and do all of those things. I'm gonna get better, but right now it's not possible to do it often. But I can do one of these videos now and then. Also, like this kind of coloring also is time consuming in the way that making videos take a long time. This video, I chose to not try to speed anything up. I chose not to change the little pen thing. If you look at my videos from like last year and stuff, I had these little marker boxes you could see in the corner that showed which marker I was using. I didn't do this time because of time constraints, basically. I work a full-time job, more than a full-time job, and I don't have all the time, and I have some things happening in my life at the moment which took a lot of time from me this weekend, and I was sick last week, so there's a lot of those, and I feel that I'm trying to catch up all the time. So I decided, hey, I'm just going to make the video a simple way and just chat about coloring with you. So I think I told you I've been coloring since 2013. I bought my first markers 2011 or 2012, and I bought 40 something markers, Copics. And I had been looking all over the place for which markers should I start with, and I just couldn't I found a whole bunch of lists, and in the end I chose one from a person that actually ended up being a friend of mine, sort of. She I think she did the Make It Crafty team, so that was a lot of fun that I was able to connect that way. But the markers I bought was all very muted, and I love a muted color scheme now, but when I started out I was all in for the brights, so it was really the wrong colors. So after a while I felt I didn't like the Copics because of my color choices. So I decided, well, I'm going to pick up the Spectrum Noirs. And I just want to say a little preface on this. I bought the first Spectrum Noirs. These were not double capped. I think they are now. They didn't have a brush nib. Brush nib didn't exist. They did talk about refills, but they hadn't added refills yet. So I basically bought the first one, and you can't buy them singularly, so you have to buy 6 packs and also 24 packs to get all of them. And they had a release price for them. I could get the whole kit for quite substantially reduced, so I did, and I hated them. I had my Copics. I've tried the Copics with a little brush, and they blended so much better than those little ones that I got from Spectrum Noirs. I was so disappointed. At the same time, I didn't feel that I could invest in more Copics because I just bought all of these markers. And yeah, I stopped coloring for a little while. And then I decided, hey, I'm going to buy the Copics. I'm going to figure out a way how to get them really low price. I'm going to get these. So I started collecting them. I bought the 72 packs. I decided I'm going to buy all of them. So I bought the 72 packs. They are reduced in price as they are. Not a lot, but they are reduced. And then I found them at places when they had 20% off, 25% off. And I bought one every third month. So I put away money for this, and I bought them every third month. And I think the price ended up being around $150 per 72 packs, something like that. So I got away much cheaper than I would have if I bought them singularly. I also chose to go with the sketch markers because somewhere in my mind I decided that, well, you can't buy the Chow because they don't work with the airbrush. Do you think I bought an airbrush? No, I have not bought an airbrush. And I had Copics. I had my full set since 2015. I still haven't got an airbrush. Maybe 2025. Who knows? Who knows? Now I need to invest in all of those refills. Well, I got them, and in 2013, I had the opportunity to start being a guest design team member or design team member for Make It Crafty. Wonder if I said wrong. It was Make It Crafty, the friend that I got all the pens from. That was Make It Crafty, not anything else. I have a tendency to say wrong between that and my favorite things. But I recently found my favorite things a couple of years ago. So this was way before that. But anyhow, Make It Crafty had digital designs, which meant it was very easy for me to get them. And I have gone through a number of printers, but the one I love is my Pixma, my Canon Pixma, but you have to print in black. You have to check in the black and white setting when you print them, and then they are Copic safe, then the ink is Copic safe. And that is how I have printed this image. So I started kind of having I have to in 2013. I had the design team. I had to put out a certain amount of videos, a certain amount of cards a month, I think it was. I had a lot of fun. And then I started working with little blue button stamps, Olga's designs. And I did that for her for a couple of years. And every time I picked up a new design team, I got more and more to do. And this was a period in my life when I was 100% sick leave. Like my brain just didn't work. Because of partly medications, partly lupus, partly migraines. There was a lot going on between 2015 and 2018, I think. So I had a lot of time. So I was coloring up a storm. I was coloring. And while I was doing that, I was learning so much, because practice makes you better. You're never gonna be perfect. That's just, life isn't perfect. And when you come up to a certain point, you are going to realize that you don't want to do it anymore, or you want to change or something. And that has happened to me. Like every year, every month, every week, I find something else that, it would be super cool if I added that color, or I added this color. Like for example, Bailey J is one of my big inspirations. I've been following her for so long, and she has different colors into her coloring, like blues into greens and all of these to make the shadows deeper and more beautiful. And it's so cool. And I want to do that one day. But right now, I'm just concentrating on having fun. So, yeah, coloring means so much to me. It is a stress reliever. It makes me feel happy. And sometimes it doesn't work. I just want to say that it's not that every image gets perfect. Sometimes you have to color the same image a couple of times before you have figured out the balance in it. It's all about balance. So don't be discouraged if you color an image and you feel that it doesn't look the way you want it to look like. Like for example, right now I figured out that I really wanted the belly of that fish to be a yellow green. Not that green that I'm coloring there. It should have a little bit more yellow in it, then it would have been really cute. But anyhow, sorry. Oh, squirrel. No, but you shouldn't be discouraged because it takes time to learn. I would say go back and look at my cards from before this, but there are some issues with my blog. One of the things is that I lost a lot of images because the image service that I was hosting my images on closed down. So I lost a lot of those. I moved my blog in like 2017 from Blogspot or Blogger to a WordPress site, and I lost a bunch there. So I don't have all my footage and all my images, but you can go back, especially if you're on Chrome. If you're on Safari, I do have some issues, I know, with posts before 2017 because they didn't transfer the correct way. However, going back for hundreds of posts, it just doesn't work. But I'm taking them one at a time if I realize that I want to share one with you. But you can always go back on my blog and look at my older projects, and you will see how I have evolved and that I have evolved, and that you really should give yourself grace. Coloring takes time, and learning how to color takes time. Like I'm not good at doing backgrounds. I really need to have reference images when I do backgrounds. Then it kind of works, but I'm still not good because backgrounds take a lot of time, and I give up. I give up so easily because like I already spent like an hour and a half on an image on the character. Then I need to make a background also. Yeah, not very good at that. Not very good at that. So I just color characters and then I do backgrounds with like distressings and stuff just because it's easy. I still make some kind of like scenes. I like making scene cards. I like making cards that isn't just pretty, that kind of say something in some way, that tells a story. And that is a fairly new thing. Like I always liked making little scenes, but since I come back, it's more like I want to do them. How do I get these characters to interact with each other? How can I get the feeling that things are happening? Either just through the images or like just how I post them. Even the card that I posted this Monday, which is a thank you card with a little tree and 2 bees. I used a colored pencil to color that one because I feel that designer, her stamps is better with colored pencils. So I really, really enjoyed coloring that. But yeah, I still made it mean a little bit more than just thank you, which was fun. So yeah, that is kind of where I am going with my coloring. I'm trying to balance how much time do I have, how long can I sit by my craft table, and how do I evolve? Because really that is where I am right now. I want to evolve. I want you to see me evolve. We all will go on these like plateaus when it feels like we don't evolve. But I felt I had mine through 2020 and 2021. And right now it feels like, well, I'm climbing that wall again. I'm learning new things, figuring new things out. I'm still using a lot of the same techniques. I'm not going completely crazy, but I'm having fun. And I can see the difference. And all of that makes me like super happy and joyful. So when coloring this image, by the way, you see that little patch of hair that she has above her ear that I forgot to color. It's still not colored on the image. It bugs me. It bugs me so much. No, but like I really loved coloring this image. I had so much fun. Because it was so long time ago, I did a bigger image. Well, I did do one of the Tiddly ink stamps, because Tiddly ink is also, by the way, where I think I was a guest design team member on her design team when she was doing digital stamps. I don't know if she does digital stamps. I haven't looked it up right now if she does it anymore, but she now designs also for my favorite things, and that was the stamp I did a couple of weeks ago. I think just on one of my sketch cards. I think that was it. They are a little bit bigger. They're not as big as this was, but they are a little bit bigger. So that was a lot of fun too. But I'm trying, like the cards that I make when I make them with like smaller characters, I try to make them softer. Because right now I've been working so much with like light colors and light things. And when they're small, it's very, very hard to have 3-4 colors. It's easier to just work with 1, 2, and maybe 3, but mostly 1 or 2 colors, just so that you can't get in that much detail. It will all be smudged, so it's better to just use 2 colors to build up that shadow. You don't get the same depth, you don't get the same roundness, but it works with the smaller images. While with an image like this, if I would go too soft, it would be very flat because it's so much area to color. By the way, I'm just using a normal pencil here and making a circle based on the die there. And then I am lightening it up as much as I can with one of those kneaded erasers. Because when you color with Copics on top of pencil marks, you can't erase them. So I erased them as much as I could, and now I'm just gonna color around. And I wanted to say why I'm doing this is because I felt that those bubbles ended up being very, very lightly colored, and they didn't really pop against the white background. So I'm now adding that little pop of color behind her, just a little circle, to make everything pop a little bit more. But yeah, just a note. Just jumping in with a coloring note here at the end. But yeah, it's been super nice chatting with you today. I hope I haven't done too many ums and ahs and everything, because this is all one take and I'm not gonna edit the audio. that's not gonna happen. Instead, I know, I had a nice time talking to you today. Maybe this is something we should do more. If you have any ideas on more kind of topics that could take an hour or so to talk about, that you want to know my thoughts about, just put them in the description down below, and maybe I can make another one of these real-time video chats and do that. I did need to color at least one mermaid, at least this month. It's Mermaid. If you go on like Instagram, you can search for the Mermaid hashtag, and there's so many cool mermaids colored or designed. It's not even colored, they are illustrated, and they're so beautiful, and I love it. So I did pick up, I think I bought like 15 mermaid stamps or something on Etsy. 2 from Moonlight Whispers, but I also picked up a bunch more. I just couldn't really stop myself. I have printed out 4, so maybe I'll make another one for next week or the week after. I am going to make a bunch of cards also, but this one doesn't become a card. She's just a little colored image. Had some fun. Had so much fun. So coloring for me means happiness. I love putting that marker to paper. I love using color pencil too. I've been actually doing a lot of color pencil coloring here in my sofa. Some of the images I have from my favorite things, from my latest order, they're very, very small, so it's very hard to come in with the coping nib. So working with pencils are much easier. And by the way, I'm using Hammermill color copy cardstock. Mine is £80, I think. For Copic coloring, I think 100 is a little bit better, but it works really good with 82. And one thing with Hammermill is that they also is very good for colored pencils. If you want that soft look and doesn't matter that you get some of that color pencil texture, then Hammermill is awesome for it. So yeah, I really recommend it as both Copic and pencil coloring. I really do. Yeah. I think we're starting to come to an end. No, we have a whole little area left to color. I can see now. See? Do you have any favorite coloring mediums? Do you color a lot? Like when I had a period when I was making 3 videos a week, and all of them are very, very coloring intensive. I was coloring almost every day. Now I color maybe 2 or 3 days a week, but I think that's a good thing. But yeah, how many days a week do you color? Do you have the possibility to color every day? I think that's my question for the day. But yeah, my little mermaid is done, and I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, just comment down below. If you like this, please thumbs it up. If you want to see more like this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you later. Bye.